Hello, friends. Beautiful evening, and welcome to Fitness Talks with Anand, Season 1, Episode 4. Today, we have a special guest. Firstly, I'll introduce. I'm Anand Pandya. I am the co founder and director for ISFS, which stands for ISST School of Fitness Sciences. What we do is we have classroom and distance education programs for everybody and anybody who wants to get into the fitness industry. Somebody wants to start his own gym, they wants to become a trainer, or wants to become a nutritionist and a fitness professional. So you can get all our details on theisfs.com. All right. Today on this fitness talk, we have a very special guest. He is somebody who'll blow your mind. I'll introduce him to you. First, we'll try and invite him, and then I can introduce you to him. When I spoke to him and when I went through his profile, I was amazed. He's somebody who will really inspire you guys. His name is Mr. Kishore Dhankude, and I'll just share a few details with you guys, and you will be amazed. Hello, Kishore. Beautiful evening, and welcome to Fitness Talks with Anand Pandya.
Good evening, Anand, and good evening, all the viewers.
Thank you. Kishore, I'll just give a small brief introduction about you.
Okay.
It is something, a lot of points, so I'm going to read it out to you guys. Kishore, he is actually on a quest to climb all 7 highest points of all 7 continents. He is the first Indian civilian to climb Mount Everest from both the sides. Indian side, the Chinese side, and the Nepalian side. He has summited Mount Kilimanjaro from Africa 2 times. Mount Elbrus, Russia. He's also summited Mount Aconcagua. Is that right, Kishore?
Aconcagua.
Right? Aconcagua from Argentina. He's attempted to climb Mount Kamet, India's highest climbable mountain. Mount Satopant, Mount Deotiba. This was his mountaineering profile. We have made it short. He's done a lot. Then coming to his marathon running profile, Comrades Ultra Marathon South Africa. He's finished Comrades 4 times in a row, which is also like the world's toughest ultra marathon. It goes 89.2 kilometers. He's done Abbott World Marathon Major, Berlin, Chicago, and New York marathons in a row. 4 Comrades Ultra Marathon, 3 World Marathon Majors, 3 Mumbai Marathons, 4 Goa River Marathons, 1 IDBI Delhi Marathon, and 1 Pune International Marathon, and many more, I'm sure. In 2017, he became the only person in the world who summited Mount Everest and ran Comrades Ultra Marathon within a span of 15 days. Kishore, your profile itself has blown my mind. Welcome, and thank you for giving your time and coming on the show. Really, like, what is it that inspired you and triggered you to do mountaineering, to surmount all these 7 peaks or 7 continents?
So it started in 93. Actually, I saw first time Himalaya in 93 when we went for the trip to Vaishno Devi.
Okay.
And yeah, so that time I first encountered with the snowfall. It was in the month of Jan, so it was a little bit cold that time. And that's how, but there was a gap again of 3-4 years, and then another friend who introduced me into the Himalayan trekking thing. So it was 97 when I did my first trek to Himalayas, and it was Kanchenjunga Base Camp. And
wow.
That's how I went into the high altitude thing.
Yeah, and you've achieved so much in such a short span. So many things.
Yeah, actually it's not a short span because people know only the short span. The journey is more than 20 years of journey.
Okay.
It took, and it took a lot of efforts to come to that bridging the gap. Within 5 years I almost achieved all these things. And yes, it was after climbing both the sides of the Everest mountain. I had to think another Everest. So the another Everest was to climb all the seven highest mountains in the seven continents. So that was another Everest for me.
So you did Everest once from China, and then how did you decide let's do it again from Nepal inside? Like you just did the highest
So,
and the most toughest.
the Everest was not on my list till 2010. It was not on my list at all. I had a different approach towards mountain, and I thought I should climb those mountains which I will enjoy. I will enjoy the thrill in climbing those mountains.
Right.
And but Everest, as you said, because of Everest, I am here on this show. It gives glamour, it gives recognition.
True.
That's how people come to know that you are into mountaineering, and that's why it was there in my list.
Superb and brilliantly, and congratulations for that. I can't even imagine how you did that. So how did you prepare yourself physically and mentally for this, being the toughest mountain to climb?
Mountaineering, it's like 80% of your approach towards the mountain and 20% about your fitness, how you are ready for the mountain. Because in mountaineering, you came to know all the data because it's very much related to the topography of the mountain and altitude and the risk factors involved in it. But to prepare for mentally, it's something different. And for physical preparation, I gave 4 years of span to prepare myself physically and mentally also during that for this mountain. And in which for first couple of years, my ratio of training was 80% of strength training and 20% of endurance training.
Okay.
And in running was very limited one. It was not like endurance training, proper endurance training. It was a bit span, but high intensity kind of thing, HIIT kind of thing, which incorporates your endurance also in that. And then the next couple of years, I reversed the ratio, 20% of strength training and 80% of endurance training, because that's how you get ready for such high altitude. And all these high altitude mountaineering is involved with your endurance. The test of your endurance is, I think it's mountaineering, because you have to survive not only the treacherous weather conditions, but also the terrain and altitude, which where the peripheral blood flow is very much compromised due to loss in atmospheric pressure. And then it comes the endurance training, which actually helps at high altitude.
Right.
And the mental thing, I used to do solo alpine style treks and expeditions and carry heavy backpack solo. For example, in Pune, everybody knows about the Katras to Sinhgad trek, K2S. We call it K2S. So for the training of Everest, I did 14 times. And 14 times out of 14 times, almost less than 4 or 5 just with someone, and all or 9 to 10 solo, maybe in dark, all in dark, never done in light. So to break the fear of dark, I did that. So that's how I got mentally ready for Everest.
Right. And as you said, at that point, the atmospheric pressure is low. So even the oxygen levels might be low. So how do you train for that?
So actually, oxygen, as everybody knows, it's same everywhere. It's just because of the drop in atmospheric pressure, we feel that there is less oxygen. Because of the altitude and because of the drop in atmospheric pressure, there is not enough of oxygen getting pumped into your bloodstream. And that's how there is not enough of fresh blood supply to the periphery, and that's how you become exhausted, and there is no that time to do for this altitude. So we have to train at altitude only. For that, couple of 3 months and check altitudes. So the Devtipa was there, which is 6,000 meter. I reach up to say 5,000 meter. I check all the physiological parameters. And then this one, Satopant, where I reach up to 6,800 meters. We stayed 3 nights above 6,000 meters. And again, as a methodical person, I have keep all the data about my readings at that altitude. And this comet, which is in which I stayed at 7,100 days and checked whether I'm ready for 8,000 meters or not. And after passing all those parameters, I went to climb Mount Everest. Here, for those simulation as a lowlander, we don't have any such kind of facilities now available called altitude chambers, where you can get simulation of up to 6,000 meters of altitude. But again, and the actual mountain starts above 6,000 meters. During training, I simulate the breathing pattern with the use of training mask, altitude training mask, which I got from US that time, my friend, and I trained for that breathing pattern. That's how I trained for Everest, staying in Pune.
Okay, wow, that's wonderful. My next question is going to come to you. In all of this training and all of this effort, family plays a major role. So, how did your family support you through this?
No, not at all. There was no such support from family at all. Nobody supports your suicide attempt. So there was no such thing. And climbing Mount Everest, it's like you are going for suicide, and nobody from your family will encourage you to go and do. But yes, it's a fun part of this. But yes, before climbing Everest, I had these 3 unsuccessful mountains, and which gives the confidence to the family and friends that okay, even if we'll be there on Everest or any mountain, he will not compromise on safety. So he will take care of his life first. Make sure that he should return to his home to tell his story either of success or failure. So that confidence was there, and that's why they allow me to go to the mountain.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks to them, we are getting to hear wonderful stories and getting to know how it is done. So I have this. My next question to you is, along with Mount Everest, which is considered like one of the most difficult of all, you've also climbed Mount Kamat, which is India's highest climbable mountain, and many more that you've done. These all are the most technically and technically difficult expeditions. Was there a moment where you felt that I should quit and I should not go ahead, or I should, in all of your expeditions?
As I said, yes, there was all these mountains before Everest I climbed. I never reached to the summit. So it's like I gave up on that mountain. My approach towards these mountains was not to reach summit. First, I had this approach of checking and testing myself whether I am ready for such humongous task of climbing mountain to climb Mount Everest, and that too, which I have chosen the side, that is the Chinese side, which is the most technical and most challenging side if you compare with the Nepalese side. And about quitting, it's part of the mountaineering, because if you have to come back and share your story like I'm sharing right now with you, I have to come alive. And to come alive, if I have to quit any mountain, I don't think it's a cowardly act. It's just taking a wise decision at the right time. And you can guide others by just respecting the call of mountain. In mountaineering, we call it the mountain has to call you, and if mountain is ready to accept you, it will definitely will allow you to reach summit. And also for the betterment of the team and betterment of your own safety, sometimes quitting is not losing, it's winning. It's winning yourself on that situation, the condition maybe, and
Correct.
which I learn in all these mountains, including Kamet. And we had a very, it was very painful mountain to climb in the month of April and May, because it's one of the most remote mountain in India.
Right.
We were there without any communication for a month or so.
Okay.
So if something goes wrong, you have to be ready to leave you or your body up there on mountain and come back and tell these things. So yes, it was a learning experience before Everest.
Superb. And did you ever come across a life-changing situation which enhanced your approach to life? Any of the expeditions?
Yeah. Every expedition gave me a different perspective of mountaineering also, and also about human behavior in mountain.
Okay.
And I would like to mention my Satopant. Yes, Satopant gave me the worst experience of my mountaineering career.
Okay.
Before Everest, obviously. There are other experiences after Satopant, but yes, it changed my approach towards life, because at that time my expedition leader, she was leading our expedition, and she abandoned the entire team, almost the entire team, for her own summit, and she make the summit bid. We call it summit bid, summit push, because she was against again in the race to climb that mountain, and everybody was not ready, because the weather on the mountain was not good. The route was not open that time, and it was riskier for us to go on mountain. And before that, we had one rescue operation done on that mountain, and we almost 6 hours we were doing the rescue operation through the glacier, and in such situation she left us stranded in the mountain. And yeah, it was a very changing experience for me, and it also taught me that whom to trust in life and whom not. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But still,
My God.
I believe in humanity, so there is no such kind of grudge I am holding about it.
Thank God for that. Thank God that you guys are safe. So we would like to know about your quest of climbing all 7 highest points in all 7 continents. How did?
It was not in my list at all. Again, I have to be very honest with my audience and my passion. But after climbing Mount Everest, I gave a thought that I should go for next something, and I have these targets in my life for everything.
Right.
I keep on chasing all those targets, and always there will be plan A, plan B, plan C. If this doesn't work, then there's a plan B. Even if the plan B doesn't work, there should be a plan C.
Plan C.
Okay,
yes.
Plan C doesn't work, then just stay at home. That's the plan D. So, and after both Everest, yes, I had already decided that I will go for 7 summits. Even if I don't reach the summit of Mount Everest second time, I will be climbing all those 7 summits in 7 continents. There are other factors also, because uh, this way I can reach the 7 continents, which will be like a tourist.
Yes.
If I have
Yes.
to go all
Yes.
7 continents, I will try to not as a mountaineer or as a passionate person. So
Correct.
yes, then I added this thing, and just to tell all the audience, after climbing Everest in 17, I immediately it happened in May, and in July I was there on Kilimanjaro.
Oh my God. Superb.
So
That's so
Kilimanjaro
great.
is the highest mountain in South African continent.
Right.
In my portfolio, I have climbed 4 mountains in 4 continents. So Kilimanjaro is in
Right.
Africa,
Uh-huh.
Elbrus in Eurasia, Europe,
Russia.
Russia.
Okay.
Then South America, I climbed Aconcagua, which is in Argentina.
Okay.
And in Asia, I climbed Everest. So now 3 are remaining. So
All
in
the
future, yes, I will climb these 3.
all the very best to you, and please be safe. It's so. Then you started. Tell us about your transitioning from mountaineering to running. Right.
It was not transition as per my own view.
Okay.
Both goes hand in hand. Both goes in hand because both
Right.
are extreme endurance activities. And if you check the HR data in both activities, it's always in zone 4 or zone 5 for a very long time.
Right.
And it helps both ways. Means the running endurance activity helps in mountaineering, and mountaineering helps in running.
Running activity.
Maybe physically you get fit for the mountaineering by adding endurance activity into your training. At the same time, mountaineering helps in running, not to give up, have hopes, dedicate yourself, keep the your tempo high and hopes high, and mentally, yes, you are actually ready to cross the finish line in marathons
Correct.
or in running. So
So
yeah, it's both ways.
right, and you also start. You are also coaching a lot of runners for this Comrades Ultra Marathon race. Uh, Firstly, I would like to know, how do you coach them? Because, and please, a lot of our viewers might not be runners, so please tell us, what is Comrades Ultra Marathon?
Okay, first of all, Comrades is the world's oldest ultra marathon, which was incorporated in 1921, I think 1921.
Okay.
It was a brainchild of Vic Clapham, who was a World War One or one, I think one, because World War Two, 1944, yeah, World War
Yeah.
One,
Okay.
and he initiated this thing to commemorate the killing of South African soldiers during the World War One.
Okay.
And that's how it came into actions in 1921.
Wow.
It's a 89.2 kilometer, and sometimes it's 87 kilometers, because it's between two cities in South Africa,
Okay.
Pietermaritzburg and Durban. So 1 year it will be from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, which is called as down run, and the next year it will be from Durban to Pietermaritzburg, which is up run.
Okay.
And
Okay.
distance varies according to the start point and the closing finish
Okay.
point.
Okay.
That's how I choose to run this Comrades Ultra Marathon. And also, yes, I have a privilege to train few people who inspired and decided to run this ultra marathon.
Correct. Yeah.
It gives immense pleasure to be associated with their success, and it's a very long training program thing, because it starts with pre-qualifying thing. So
Okay.
for Comrades Ultra Marathon in 2016, when I ran for the first time, it was sub 5 thing. So you have to finish a full marathon less than 5 hours. So you will
Okay.
get qualified, registered for the comrades. But
Okay.
now it's since I think 2018 or 19, the time has reduced to 4 hours and 49 minutes. So you have to finish a full marathon in 4:49, and you get qualified for the comrades.
Okay.
So it starts with training for full marathon,
Uh-huh.
get qualified for the
Ultra
comrades
man.
ultra marathon, and then start the comrades training. So it's a minimum 6 months to 9 months is the ideal time span to train for comrades ultra marathon. And
Okay.
on the very strong side, you can train in 6 months also if you are physically active. There are no medical issues,
Yeah.
there are no other issues with you, then definitely yes, you can.
So,
And you have to put a lot of mileage for this, because running a 90 kilometer within a span of 12 hours, because there are cutoffs, not
correct.
only cutoff for the full distance, but there are intermittent cutoffs which
Right.
you have to pass within that whatever stipulated time you are
Okay.
given
Okay.
to cross that line. So
Okay.
it starts with a very meticulous planning of each and every kilometer, or maybe each and every cutoff point.
That's lovely. Wow. And is there a time? There is a. I've heard there is a time period in which you have to complete the whole marathon.
Yeah, it's a 12
12,
hours
12 hours.
is the cut time. That
12 hours.
total cutoff distance. So
Okay. Okay.
we have to finish that distance in less than 12 hours.
Wow. That's wonderful. And I've also heard that you have a unique row at the Comrades Ultra Marathon. What is that?
It's a unique row, means since 2016 I am running this Comrades Ultra Marathon each and every year.
Right.
And me, and as in 2017, as you mentioned in my all the achievements, I submitted Mount Everest on 20th May, and I came back to India, packed my backpack, everything, and went to South Africa and ran this ultra marathon on 4th of June. So it
Wow.
was uh, it was something new. And uh,
Yes.
to add this thing, why I'm running so many times, only Comrades is the only marathon that time which I was knowing
Hmm.
that it gives a unique recognition to you. If you finish 10 Comrades ultra marathons,
Okay.
you get a green number, and whatever bib number you will have, it will be permanently registered in your name.
Okay.
So for example, 36500 is my bib number. We call it bib number. Runners call it bib number.
Right.
So every year that will be my bib number. So there will not be any change in my bib number. So once I will finish the 10 comrades, which I have the next Everest in running, but I have to finish 10 times comrades ultra marathon, and that will be registered for lifetime in my name. So
Wow.
that's
Ah, that is wonderful and good. Good of Comrades to do something like that. Wow.
yeah, they
So,
did do a lot of things.
yes, I heard it for the first time. Wow. Tell me, there are a lot of calculations that we have to do when you are running.
Mhm.
So, what are the some major calculations that you should be very particular about, or you have to focus on, like heart rate, or
Oh,
I've
oh,
seen people having those watches and then they have those calculations.
First thing, I'm not a sports physiologist, so there will be a very limited knowledge which I got. I can share. Yes,
Sure.
heart rate, then your pace, your calorie consumption, your cadence, okay, your vertical oscillation, your stride length, everything counts when it comes to running. And if you are running on a professional, amateur, or maybe just a recreational runner, that
Right.
it's irrespective of that. Why all these parameters are there? All these parameters are helpful to you to build your running economy, first thing.
Okay.
Then make you a safe runner, not because it's an again adventurous sport. Running is an adventure sport,
Right.
so there are risks involved in it, and always too early, too much is always dangerous, which
Right.
invites injuries. Even in strength training, you cannot go and just lift a 300 pound and do a free squat. It has to be uh, gradually. You have to put all these things, and
Correct.
that's how all these data we got from heart rate, your pace, at what pace your heart rate is in zone 4 or zone 5. So as a coach or as a trainer, we have to take care of all these things and plan the training programs, the runs, their paces according to that. And that's why all these minute details we have to take care. Also, not only these running data, but also their this thing, nutrition also, because
Right.
comrades, it's a 12-hour event. So
Yes.
in 12
Yes.
hours, how many calories you are going to burn? How
Right.
many liters of water loss will be there in your body? How many maybe milliliters of electrolytes your body needs to be replenished
Correct.
at regular intervals?
Yes.
Every 45 minutes, how your muscle glycogen levels will deplete and how to again get back to the normal, how to flush out your lactate built in your lower body or maybe upper body. So all these things comes when you are doing the training and the training plans. So
Okay.
that's why we have to think eh, almost like a scientist.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So many parameters to take care of.
So many parameters, yes, definitely.
Wow.
And why these parameters we have to take care? Because you at the finish line you have to keep a smiling face. It should not be why I ran this distance.
Correct.
There has
Correct.
to be sense of achievement. The journey, the training months you have put. So all those are uh, forgotten when you cross the finish line.
Finish line. Absolutely true. So true. And I was going to come to that point of nutrition. So what is it that you would tell? There are so many viewers who are also runners, and 89.2 kilometers, definitely you need to replenish yourself. So what is the nutrition that you guys follow? I'm not asking for an entire diet plan, but
Yeah, yeah.
certain tips
Because
for
it's
our viewers.
again, it's again a very minute calculation which I do, because being a methodical person, I do
Correct.
follow all these things. And as a safe runner and as a safe mountaineer, I have to take care of all these things. Yes, first thing, you have to calculate the energy cycle of your body. Every human being is different. Everybody's energy cycle is different. The ability to process muscle glycogen, every person has a different approach.
Right.
Every person mentally is different. So many times these events are governed by your mental toughness rather than your physical ability.
Right.
But nutrition is the factor which is very crucial, either you are mentally fit or not, or whether you are physically fit or not.
Right.
Nutrition is same for everyone, and all these endurance activities, they are when you sweat a lot, there is a depletion of your from your body, not only just water but also electrolytes. So you
Correct.
have to replenish electrolytes to avoid all those repercussions of losing essential body fluids in your body.
Correct.
Then not only on event day all these things, but also before that we call it carb loading thing. So we have
Okay.
to work on carbohydrates loading in the loading phase. We before any race, minimum 7 to 15 days we do this carb loading kind
Carb
of thing.
loading. Okay.
Carb loading. Yeah, and for this very meticulous thing, I will recommend everyone to have a nutritionist in their list, like a doctor or family doctor. Yes,
True. True.
somebody is there to guide you. Don't Google on these things, because, as I said, everybody is different. So
Different.
everybody is different, and there has to be someone who will have a stick in his or her hand and will help you.
Yes.
Okay, do this and don't do this,
Correct.
and that's how it works. And also,
Right.
on as we are discussing comrades a lot, we have to consider what kind of supplements we have en route the 89
Right.
kilometer, because you
Right.
cannot carry so much of food
Yes.
your body and run with that
Correct.
excess baggage on your body and cover the distance. It will be utter stupidity
Yes.
to run with all these things. So plan and train accordingly all the things available en route.
Superb. Thank you so much to sharing that with us. And definitely, yes, that point we always cover, Dr. Google. So don't. Thank you for covering that point for us. Thank you.
I'm not against Googling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your body, listen to the experts.
Correct. Absolutely. So true. My next question would be, what do you think about women nowadays pursuing sports so much, which is a good thing? How would you encourage our female viewers to get more into running and mountaineering?
Oh my God.
The ratio also has changed. There are so many.
Now,
Yeah.
Yes, in India now the trend has changed. Also, the ratio has changed.
Yeah.
And few years back, it was very limited activity. Those who are contesting either in state games or maybe national or maybe Asian or Olympic, only those athletes used to train on such a large scale. But
Right.
since last maybe 7, 8 or 10 years, now even the common person is also on the road to run.
Right.
And women, yes, they are, I will say, they are the most precious gift the nature has given to the humankind.
Yes.
And they must respect their body, and they must run, because there are misconceptions about running also, because
Yes.
few part of the community thinks that running gives aging effect. I don't think so. It's what you eat gives the aging thing. In running, what happens? You lose lot of fat from your body, and
Right.
you look like a pale and weak person because of the endurance thing. But
Right.
I don't think that's a proper approach towards running, especially by women. Also, due to the other medical reasons, yes, there are limitations to continue such a long span. But yes, they should run, because they are the least look after part of the society.
Yes.
We
Yes.
know nobody loves to see unhealthy or unfit lady. Everybody
Yes.
curves on
Yes.
everything, but
Fit
it
female.
will happen when you train.
Train.
Also, my approach of seeing women in running, because that how they will understand how to cook. How to cook means what? Not how to cook means, I'm not raising questions about their skills,
Cooking skills.
but what
Correct.
is requirement. The
Yes.
lesser the oil in the food, because they will come to know that having that oily food, how it affects their endurance, their
Correct.
performance.
Right.
Then timely sleep, on time food, either breakfast, lunch or dinner, everything. When
Right.
they will go on the run, they will understand, they will discuss, and they will improve themselves, and that's how they will improve the health of the family also.
Definitely. Women it really impact the family also. Wow. Thank you for that. So, how do you think with running and mountaineering, is weight training also important with that? Cross training, weight training, how does it go?
Yes, I think at least a beginner, he must do 3 days of strength training and 3 days of endurance training.
Mm-hmm.
because as I said, your nutrition plays a very vital role when you go into the endurance training,
Correct.
and also the strength training is the backbone of your endurance training, because stronger muscles will give a best posture form. If
Correct.
your muscles are strong, your torso will be very strong, because lot of all the in running you have to lean forward. It's called so that your center of gravity should be in line. Also, since it's an impact activity
Right.
at regular intervals, there has to be strength in your calf, there has to be strength in your quads. And only, I think, either strength training doesn't mean going and hitting weights in gym. It's also, I will consider as body weight strength training is also the same, gives the same effect. Also, all not only you need strong muscles, but also you need strong bones, also strong
Correct.
ligaments,
True.
and all these will happen only when you add strength training into your running. And
Mm-hmm.
functional also, I will add not only strength but functional also. Functional training will also, will, if there are minute corrections required in your posture or form while running or even while standing, yes, that will help you in improving your posture. Also, it gives a confidence, because it's a very short span activity. You have to
Mm-hmm.
finish that repetitions in 20 seconds or 25 seconds. You
Correct.
cannot do 100 squats in a straight one go. You will go on progressively overloading
Yes.
either weights or reducing the repetitions,
True.
and
True.
that gives a momentary spike, and definitely that's what we need when during running, because at aid station you have to stop for a few seconds and then
Mm-hmm.
again start. So
Start.
that push only when you condition yourself is going to achieve. So yes, I will say recommend strength training is a must.
Wonderful. So now ultra marathons are going to become very famous. You are talking about it, and there are so many people. So can anyone run an ultra marathon?
Oh yes, anyone who is willing to run, if he's having no medical issues, and even if he had not ran before, yes, he can, but not. It's not a very short span activity. You have to give at least, if you are starting from zero, give 2 years, and definitely you will able to run, because running for me it's not through the legs, it's
Hmm.
here.
Correct.
If
Correct.
you
Definitely.
are mentally strong, you, for one person, 5,000 meters will be his ultra marathon, and for someone 100 kilometers is not enough to call it as ultra marathon.
True. True. So it's all here. Very true. What is that one piece of most important advice that you would like to give a new runner? Somebody who just
Oh,
started running.
okay. So for new runner, okay, new runner, that means he had enrolled for some kind of event. I'm
Right.
giving an example.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Mostly
Manoj,
that will
you
be
have
the
time
case.
now? Or are we
Yes. Yes.
running out of time?
We do have 17 minutes.
Okay. So first you have registered. That means the will is there.
Correct.
Okay. So you 50% job is done.
Correct.
Now you have to reach the start line.
Okay.
And that journey from registration to start line, you must enjoy. You must enjoy. There will be pain, there will be injuries, there will be naysayers, there will be so many people who will get encouraged by you,
Yes.
inspired by your action, inspired by your approach. And once you reach the start line, for me, it's the job is done. You whether you have registered for 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, or 100 kilometers, doesn't matter to me at all.
Correct.
But the will to stand at the start line is important. And the will of registration to standing at the start line will get you to the finish line. This will be my approach. First thing. First, second thing. Now the journey, as I said, there will be a lot of people
Right.
who will be running either next to you, behind you, ahead of you.
Correct.
Please mark my word. Don't follow someone else's dreams.
Correct.
Follow your own program. Please follow
True.
your own program. You really don't know how much efforts that person had given in his
Yes.
past life to get into that state. And if you start chasing him by chasing his dreams, I don't think you will reach even the start line, because that's how you will land up in injury. And as I said, finishing the marathon for the newcomers is the most satisfactory thing. He is not running against time, he is running against his own achievements, own desire to get fit. And
True.
that should not be compromised at any cost. And for that, he must follow his program. Now, the most important is understand your body. First thing. Okay, don't have very aggressive dreams. Don't put repetitive things in your training program.
Okay.
Keep changing, and with guidance from someone expert.
Right.
We need someone who will govern.
Right.
If you have seen, Anna, the world's most elite athletes, they become elites because of the coach.
Correct.
Because there was
Correct.
someone who will monitor, who will keep the record, and who will guide without any interest.
Absolutely.
And with 100% dedication. And
True.
that's why, yeah. Another, again, the nutrition thing, because in running
Yes.
community, it's a community activity.
Yes.
For me, I don't recommend a community activity, because you have to run with your own legs only. And but there are not only physical limitations, but also the social limitations to run also.
Yes.
So please, I will say, and I recommend, please run solo on
Yes.
your own. That's
True.
how the mental toughness will build.
Very important.
Because when you start feeling the pain, then and then only the mental toughness will come into action and will help you to push yourself. That's how
Correct.
people like me, self-motivated people, have this kind of approach. But that
Very
doesn't mean I'm against the community activity. Yes, you can do pre-run, stretch, warm-up session
Yes.
in post-run sessions in group. And most important, after finishing your whatever run or activity, okay, the 45 minutes after the activity are most important. Don't do any time pass kind of thing. Immediately after finishing the run, get your stretches done, okay, which will prevent disease, and immediately start your nutrition thing. The protein shake, the supplements, okay, whatever. There might be vitamin C supplements or BCAA, whatever there are in your nutrition plan. Please follow that, and then do all the socialization thing.
So true. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And a lot of runners will benefit from this. So many important points that you covered. I'm thankful for that. We'll move to our viewers. If our viewers have any questions, you can just type it down, and we'll request Kishore to answer those. Viewers, if you have any questions, please write it down. And till we get some questions from the viewers, I would like to move to the next round, which is the rapid fire round. We have a small surprise for you. These are some fun questions that you just need to answer whatever comes to your mind quickly. All right. Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Super. So we would like to know, what is your favorite snack?
Favorite snack?
Yes.
Favorite snack? The Rajgira laddu is my favorite snack.
Oh wow, wonderful. Super. So I've heard you are on the FC road. Vaishali ki coffee or Rupali ki coffee?
My God, Rupali coffee.
Arey, superb. how do you feel when a lot of people right now, also one person just wrote over there that you look like Sachin Tendulkar. So when somebody tells you that, what do you feel, or how do you reply to them?
I'm getting those comments since 92. So
As soon as we started,
yeah.
I saw somebody write the same thing, that you have a similar smile to Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives immense pleasure to be a lookalike of a legend, and also a person like Sachin Tendulkar. He's the legend. So
Legend, yeah.
yes, it's a lot of pleasure. But
With your profile,
and
you are a
also,
legend for us in running and mountaineering. Brother, you've done
yeah,
amazing things.
we both reach Everest of our life. So yes, there are similarities.
Superb, superb. What would you like to do on a Sunday morning? Go for running, climb a mountain, or have breakfast with family? On a
Running.
holiday. Running. Lovely. So we know, yeah. When on a holiday, do you follow a diet
Oh, no.
plan? Suppose you are on a holiday somewhere, without mountaineering holiday. You've connected your holidays with mountaineering. Just relaxing holiday, do you follow a diet plan?
No, I'm a person who enjoys where he is. So if I'm on holiday, I will enjoy the food which is available there. So I will not carry any kind of snacks which are homemade and go and there then spoil the economy of that place by having the homemade food.
True. What is your favorite shoe brand?
Nowadays I am running with Nike.
Okay.
But I still like to run in Skechers, which is the extra light shoes, which I started with my first run, and I ran my fastest comrades in Skechers only.
Oh, so there is an emotional connect with that. What? Yeah. Which is your favorite desert?
Favorite desert? Just one or many?
Oh, which is the most favorite desert?
The most favorite will be butterscotch.
That's wonderful. Who is your fitness idol? You are a role model for so many people in running and mountaineering. Who is your role model? Who is your idol?
My idol, when I was doing the strength training, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger was my idol, and Anand, I have his book of Encyclopedia in 92. I got that book in 92.
Wow.
And, yes, he was there. In running, there are two idols which I really admire, and they are top in world right now. It's Eliud Kipchoge and Kenenisa Bekele, and I still put my money on Bekele to be world's fastest marathoner, and I'm following him for the last many years.
Oh, okay, all right. My last question to you would be: what is the food that you miss the most when you are on the mountains?
Oh my God! It's a very tough question because in mountains nowadays we get almost every food which you can imagine because of the infrastructure available there. Honestly, I miss the masale bhat, we call it, and biryani and
masale bhat is what you miss. Lovely. We have one question from Aditi in our viewers. She has asked, how is it to be on the top of the mountain when you summit?
When I summited for the first time, I said, my God, paisa vasool, because it's a very expensive thing.
Right.
And you are judged whether you have reached summit or not. Your success is measured when you reach summit, and to reach summit you have to do a lot of compromises, financially, emotionally, socially, and this it gives the satisfaction. And in mountaineering it's just halfway, because you have reached the summit. Now you have to come down to tell your story, and it has to be a round trip. It cannot be just one way. It has to be a round trip, and for that we have to be very alert after reaching summit, and we have to come back safely.
True.
So that kind of mixed.
It's a heavenly feeling. Paisa vasool feeling. True. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Sunil Bhatia, one of our colleagues. He says, Anand sir, we have created an Everest record ourselves. ISST is the only one who has had double Everesters on our webinars.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Bhatia sir. Definitely. So, Kishore, thank you so much for sparing time, coming and sharing all your experiences with us, because there is so much that people will learn from this. A lot of people will see these videos later on also, as per their convenience, and they'll learn a lot. Runners, because everybody is getting into running nowadays, so they will learn a lot from this. Mountaineers, thank you so much. You have opened my mind to a lot of new things, and I remember in my school days I had done Himalayan trek once. After that, I did not continue. But after talking to you, definitely I am inspired, and I'll meet you soon to start training for this. So for my viewers, anybody, please, yes, Google is a way to search. But for professional advice, if you are a runner or a mountaineer, please speak to Mr. Kishore. You can contact him you can get our details from ISFS, and we'll share all the details with him. Kishore, if you can tell your email address and contact number, people would get in touch with you.
Yeah, my contact number is WhatsApp or call 98220 57007. So not 7 is my number.
007 of mountaineering and running. Superb. Lovely, guys.
And thank you, Anand. And about email, yes, you can reach me at dhankudekishore@gmail.com.
Super.
So it's a single word, Dhankude, DHNKUDE, KISHOR. Don't suffix E after R, because it's KISHOR.
Okay.
At Gmail. And thanks a lot, Anand.
Thank you, Kishore. And guys, definitely take professional advice before you start running or mountaineering. Kishore, people like Kishore are there who have done it, been there and done that. So he definitely take professional advice and only then start for such things. Thank you, Kishore. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you.
Nice to have you.